Swords. We all know how they work. You stick them with the pointy end. But how else can we use them?
Ooh.
Let's find out.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. Zach, Jim, son, father. We're here with As Fantasy for the Ages, talking about just something fun from the world of fantasy fiction. It could be fun. It could also be very dangerous. We're talking about swords today.
Yeah,
And
highly recommend. Don't do any of the things
don't try
that
this at home.
we are talking about today without adult supervision, someone with medical experience on hand, maybe, because even if I've done any of them, they probably weren't smart.
Thinking of the things you can do with swords besides just fight someone.
Yeah, this is outside the norm. The things that you feel like is the obvious thing you see in media, talked about in books all the time. How else have you used a sword? Could you use a sword?
And you might even see this in a novel at some point, but a lot of these you probably won't.
For a little bit of context, I went on vacation recently, and we liked making some fires out in fire pit and whatnot.
And you just happen to have a sword with you?
One of the requirements for our group within ourselves, one of Rachel's requirements for everybody kind of was, hey,
Be armed?
No, it was have at
she's
least
such a Texan.
It was have at least one day of Ren Fair like attire.
Oh.
So it gave me an excuse to take my sword with me.
Okay.
So I had my longsword, but I did not have an axe or a hatchet or any way to actually split wood or anything like that. So instead, I stabbed the sword into some wood here and there, and then would like swing it down to break it smaller, and scraped off kindling, and it was great. It worked very well, and I got to feel really silly making kindling with a big sword.
Okay,
But it
but
got me thinking, what else
you
could we
could do it. You could do it. I have used my sword as a box cutter. It's effective to open packages. Cuts right through.
Right through. Maybe
You
be
can
careful
cut right
not
through
to
the
cut.
package too, so you
Yeah,
gotta
be
be
careful what you're cutting through. Similarly, I don't own a hacksaw. I don't own pruning shears, anything like that. If the tree or a bush out in the back gets overgrown and I'm starting to get worried about like it being unsafe for Rolly or just being in the way, I have gone out and gone swinging at the tree until it breaks enough.
Okay.
It always feels a little silly. It's a good workout, but it's fun.
Now, not all swords will work for this next one, but depending on the type of sword, you can use it as a straight edge when you're trying to level things and like get things just balanced right on the wall. You know, hold the sword up there. It's got a
You
nice
should make
straight
sure
edge.
your straight sword is straight.
Yes. Again, some swords aren't. Some are designed with a curve. You know, so that won't work so well.
One of your swords will work very well as a straight edge, and the other will be a very interesting straight edge.
Yes, I have a curved blade. That's not the one to use as a level.
Now, interestingly enough, I'm a little bit going to break my rule of talking about the intended or unintended purpose of a sword here, because I keep my sword relatively near the bed. It is more or less my home intruder defense thing. Not how you would think, though. If someone were to break into my house, I'm not drawing that sword and sticking it with the pointy end. It's a heavy longsword with a nice pommel. It's a blunt object that I could bludgeon someone with. There is historical evidence for that, but like
this just turned dark. Yes.
No, personally, I would rather keep a sheathed longsword by my bed than a gun for home defense. I feel it's safer to keep in the house.
Okay. I've got another obvious one. And for those who've watched other episodes, you know this already. Swords can be wall decorations.
Absolutely.
I've got two of them behind my green screen right now, hanging on the wall. And they look great. So art, wall decorations, swords.
In a pinch, it could be a writing surface.
It's
pretty small.
Yeah.
But if all I've got is a piece of paper, a pen, and a sword and I'm out in the middle of nowhere, I'd rather put the sword down and write on the blade than I would just straight on my lap. Like,
Sure.
it's a hard surface.
Hard surface. Cooking an implement. Totally. Not so much to cook on, though I could.
You could.
Because it's tempered steel, I can heat that up and sizzle something on it.
Yeah.
I was thinking more in the preparation,
Cut up some
cutting up
veggies.
the meat, the veggies, whatever. It's a little awkward because the sword's a little long, probably, but it's doable.
I just realized in the same vein, it's a great oven mitt, especially depending on what I'm trying to get out. I get some of these like pre-made, just stick in the oven, bagged garlic bread things from HEB. And so you just stick that in the oven 15, 20 minutes or so. It's great, but it's hot. So I could go grab my oven mitt and grab it out, or I could grab the sword, poke the bag, and just pull it out, never get close to the oven.
You could. I'm not sure how well that would work. But
I'm sure it would work great, and I bet with a curved sword, it might even work better.
Now, something I've seen people do with swords that I don't recommend is use them for juggling. A juggling device. As you spin them in the air, you just always want to grab the right end.
Maybe don't use sharp ones for that.
Oh, what's the fun of that?
Keeping your fingers.
Yeah, taking out all the fun. Yep.
All right, what else we got?
Well, I mean, certainly it could be used as a dental device.
Don't do
pick your
that.
teeth and you don't have a toothbrush, use the sword.
Don't do that. Don't use it as a
toothpick.
dental
Sometimes
device.
you need get that seed out, so you just get the sword and
don't use it to clip your nails. This one's less problematic, but still probably don't use it to cut your hair. Like that one you probably could do.
Oh, totally.
Probably don't, though.
I've seen that in fantasy stories. Just hack off the hair. Just don't hack off the head. Shaving. You're just trimming with the edge of the sword.
It's a little unwieldy, but more doable. Just hold on to the blade a bit and like straight edge.
Yep. Totally. These all make sense in a scary, twisted, dangerous sort of way.
It's doable.
That's what we're going for. Doable. Anything else coming to mind? A key use of a sword. It can be a cane. You're tired. It's been a long day. Or you've got a bum leg from an injury. You're using that cane to help. That sword as your cane to move yourself along.
Depending on the length of your sword, if you've got a claymore sitting around, it could be a shower curtain, like a curtain rod.
It could. And then wedge the handle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's possible. It's going to leave a nasty gouge in the wall, but if you're just a guest, it doesn't matter.
You can spackle that up.
Well, that's if it's your own home, you'll spackle. If you're just a guest, you'll just leave.
No, well, it depends. How much of a guest? Like, is this someone you're staying at their place or a guest, or are you renting? Because if you're renting, no, hide that. Hide that so much. You'll get charged.
But if it's just a friend you're staying over, yeah, just leave the hole in their wall.
I mean, if it's a friend you're staying there, leave the sword there. They're going to think it's cool.
It can be a discipline device.
Well, I don't like where this
you're using the flat end. You whack someone on the bottom, you chase your cat off the counter. You just always have to use the flat end.
Don't recommend that one.
We don't recommend most of these, Zach. Come on. It could be a letter opener. Absolutely.
Back in the vein of fire, it's a great like fire poker, stir up the ashes.
Okay.
Let's see what else we got.
It can be a branding device. Get it really hot, and then you have the mark of the sword.
In a much nicer way, it's a cauterizing instrument.
Yes, we've seen it used for that.
Now it's safety.
Yep. Cauterizing. Because we often, may have lost a limb and we need to stop the bleeding.
It's also usable as one of those, like, you go to the store, you get the little grabber thing where you squeeze it and it like has a grabber claw at the end for like if you drop your keys down a storm drain. You could hook your sword down on the ring of the keys and then just get it up. It's not going to be easy.
There's an angle issue there. You poke it with the
not
sword.
Going to be easy.
You've reached way down. Now you just have to tip the sword. You can't tip the sword when you're poking down a hole like that.
It's not going to be easy, but I think you could do it.
Unless you might need like chewing gum or something you would stick on the end of the sword and then attach. Now you're going. Now you're talking.
There's options.
All right. What obvious thing are we forgetting? What are we missing?
You could pick locks with it. And by pick locks, I mean break them.
Break them wide open. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
You can use it for making art pieces, whittling and such.
Yes.
It's a serviceable chisel.
You could play in faux combat with people. You know, you're doing your sword stuff. We're not trying to hurt anybody. We're just playing.
You could use it as a really bad canoe oar.
Really bad. Yeah.
Not a lot of surface area.
No, that's not going to do much. It could be a bookmark.
That's a great one.
Totally.
Be careful not to get too sharp of a sword and accidentally just cut through the spine.
The book is now 2 books. Must be gentle.
And I think that's a great place for us to leave off because it brings us back to what we're really here for. Books.
Books. Yes, books.
And I
think we see swords used in a variety of ways in the books we enjoy, and that's cool.
And we've properly demonstrated that neither of us should be trusted to own swords. Oh, wait, we already do.
Well, I own 2. You own just 1? 2?
1 sword.
I also own a batleth.
We've got
it's sharp too.
Rach has her own sharp implements as well. So,
all right. Well, fun little conversation. Hopefully, you guys thought it was fun. If you did, don't forget to hit the like. Help us spread the word about our nonsense at Fantasy for the Ages. Any last words, Zach?
Don't do anything we tried at home, and
especially the dental care. Don't
hurt yourself, please.
Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.